Probably worth stepping back just and saying conceptually where FINRA sees these NMS rules fitting in the OTC equity market and relative to the NMS market. And I think the answer is that we've perceived on the part of the Commission a desire for the underpinnings of NMS to be applied wherever applicable. So, if you go back to the 1970s and early 1980s, you look at congressional records and SEC releases, you see that what they wanted was price competition in markets, so people competing and offering the most aggressive bids and offers, but also market competition. And what they meant by that was trading, business type trading system, innovative business models, competing all within one system. And I think if there's one thing I'd like to kind of hopefully get across to concerned people here today is that FINRA's not trying to pick winners and losers. We're not trying to pick business models. We're just trying to find the best middle ground where multiple business models can compete. And hopefully we're moving in that direction. I know a lot of your comment letters we read closely over the last 2 iterations showed a lot of concern about a lack of consolidated quote in the OTC equity market, a lack of a lock-in crossing rule, and a lack of a customer limit order display rule. So, we hit all 3 of those now, or we're hitting them, and they were directly as a result of these comments, trying to respond to them. So hopefully we've done some of that. I may not be completely the case, but I think that's kind of where we're coming from.
I mean, I think it's an interesting process as markets develop, and we've seen in the OTC market a lot of what we've seen here develop for private competition and limit order display. Just about every market maker does it, every ECN does it. They do it in different manners for their customer orders, price-based. The question is, if you show your full book, does that suddenly become a market for someone to front run? And the world points to NMS for OTC equities. However, there's also another marketplace which I think is akin to the OTC equity market, which is the options markets. And those have developed in a slightly slower manner. There's still, the majority of flow is not maker-taker priced. And in the OTC market, for the equity side, there's a lot of getting to liquidity, creating liquidity. And I'm not sure that the rule proposals have been pushed out in a manner which looks at the economics of the space, the market structure, what are other markets for smaller issuers, because while NMS has been a huge raging success to trade Intel, Microsoft, IBM, high frequency, lots of liquidity, just get in line to the liquidity, it has not been seen as a great winner for once you get off the most active 500 securities. And these rule proposals have come out of FINRA, very well written, but crafted by lawyers, not economists. And here's an opportunity to really start moving a marketplace forward and doing it incrementally, which the options markets, because the exchanges, being regulators, have had a very large voice in the movement, and it's moving, and they're all moving along. But this rule proposal, it's like, let's sweep in as much as possible, and still missing a few pieces, and let's just throw it in with no economic analysis, and that's an issue. And I think some of the points where you see some real problems where the rule proposal was written by an attorney rather than a market structure person, and attorneys are very good, but they're not market structure people, is quote increments below $1. Right now the quote increments below $1 are less than the amount of the access fees. So that is like creating a giant online gaming facility for markets to be picked off versus let's lock the market on access fees, and then we're going to send in one order through someone who we don't pay an access fee through an online broker, and then we're also going to have our other side be on an order where there's where I get the rebate of the access fee. And the idea of access fees was that they're de minimis. And when access fees came out, no NMS securities traded below $1, so they didn't think about it. And it was a de minimis amount of securities. And here in the OTC space, it's a lot of securities. So they brought it, so the access fees below $1 need to be looked at, and also the quote increments. FINRA has a great line, which they took from the commission in the rule proposal, that says The reason for them having quote increments is because if you don't have enough increment, you end up with just minor amounts of jumping ahead of other orders. And then they went to have 1,000 price points between 50 cents and 51 cents, which is, I put in my book minor amount. And, if you look at where, markets which have a lot of low price securities trading, Canada, Australia, those are pretty much the two big ones. They have penny increments to 50 cents. And you would think that is a pretty good, but, on the other side, there's locked cross markets. FINRA's being rather disingenuous there because they want to prove there's a need for a monopoly SIP. And there is, they've said when we went electronic, for best execution, broker-dealers need to look at prices in the bulletin board and the electronic pink sheets. They, broker-dealers for best execution need to look at both places, so I wouldn't say that for locked cross markets, broker-dealers need to look at the whole interdealer market as well, because the side of a locked cross is, let's get back to the fundamental market structure reason. You've got a customer order. There's a price at which your customer order could be filled. You are instead showing that order to the whole street to be front run because you get paid an access fee. I mean, that's why you lock across a market. But it is a complete violation of best execution because you could fill your customer order, but you're locking the market because you want to make your access fee. You're putting your access fee ahead of your customer. And so it goes back to the best execution violation, which I don't see in this, I don't see that is a problem, but you need that problem for FINRA to become a monopoly SIP and build their heavy infrastructure to collect quotes while not operating the marketplace. Because if we all looked at what ADF cost members, you didn't get billed directly, but your membership fees, it got paid for somewhere.